All right, folks, happy Sunday. Hope everybody had a blessed weekend. Really looking forward to running up a late night live show like we always do. And I appreciate you guys for stopping by. The market is moving right now, a little bit of excitement taking place, so this should be fun. We'll get to cover this market move in real time. I'm sharing this one out real quick. As we get started, you guys already know the deal. Everything is at my website, zachrector.com. All of our community resources, precious metals, wallets, exchanges, and getting tapped in with our investment community. It's all over there. And without further ado, we're going to get right on into today's update. Sunday, December 12, 2023. It's unbelievable that we're already approaching the end of this year. It's been up mostly this whole year. Incredible run for Bitcoin. I'm taking a look at the weekly chart right now, and you can see this thing has just pumped all year long. Little bit of consolidation right here, sub 30K. But we had a breakout here, and as I mentioned last week, this is on your weekly chart, right? As I mentioned last week, this was good, healthy correction that came in for Bitcoin, back testing, and now we're at 41,000. We close off the week here right about 41,000 or so. This was a healthy pullback. We had no structure coming all the way up in here when we took off from about 27,000 in the middle of October, all the way up here to 44,800 for Bitcoin, almost 45,000. So just an incredible run up ever since the Bitcoin spot ETF news came out. What I am watching for though is, can this rally extend? Will we get the ETF approvals coming in January? That'll be coming in here, just a couple more candles to be printed here on the weekly chart before we approach when we should be getting approval, denial, or delay on these Bitcoin spot ETFs. For Ethereum, not as exaggerated, right? Moving in here a level all the way down to $912 for Ethereum back in June of 2022. So we go, well, we're zoomed out quite a ways here, but Ethereum kind of just chopping sideways between 1,800 and 2,000. Now XRP does what XRP does. Went absolutely nuts, went absolutely stupid on July 13th. Historical ruling, broke all the exchanges, shut it down. And we've been moving sideways through here, basically 55 cents all the way up to about 70 cents. Tapping on the 70-cent level and breaking through it a couple times has been good to see. Great structure for XRP. Great structure for XRP already. Okay, so we'll be watching that one. XLM back down to 12 cents. Kind of just been moving here sideways. It did get that pump along with XRP on July 13th. XLM was right behind it. Now, looking at the DXY, you saw where it topped out here in August of, September of 2022, last year. Okay, and so the DXY has been kind of down all year long, except for the second half of this year. It has rallied temporarily, and now it's been working its way back down. Now that the Fed's going to pivot, you see a massive red candle on the DXY coming in last week after Jerome Powell says that we're going to pause rates one more time. Okay. Now, looking at the 2-year, that was back down this last week, and the 10-year collapsing back down below 4%. And so with the Fed already starting this pivot, potentially looming, right? Folks are starting to make their moves. This has been one of the big indicators that we've been watching. That's been oil. The production cuts have already been coming in, yet price is still going down, signaling that we have weak demand, and that weak demand showing us that recession is still looming ahead. Back up last week for silver. Obviously, we had a big correction after silver went up to about $26 per ounce, while gold went up and set a new all-time high. Remember, gold has triple tapped the level here 3 times. The 4th time we finally get this breakout into price discovery, 2,150. After that, we get brought back down here, sub 2,000 once again. And as I stated, I was going to buy my silver at under $23 per ounce. And it didn't take long to recover back up. That was just a brief moment in time, and silver back towards $24 per ounce, gold back above $2,000 per ounce. For your stocks, the Magnificent Seven, well, really topped out here. Really topped out here for Nvidia. Watching that one, went and set another all-time high for Nvidia. Okay, But I think that there might be a little bit more to squeeze out of this rally before the bigger correction is coming in. Same thing for the S&P 500. And I wanted to highlight, so many folks focus on this year, right? And you can see right here, we bottomed out in October of 2022, and that was 27% down. So the S&P 500 did collapse in 2022. There was a crash. Many people forget that. And so then they're highlighting how the S&P has rallied all throughout 2003. Well, yeah, it did after it crashed by 27%. So it's taken 2 years to get back to break even on the S&P. How much more are you going to try to squeeze out of this lemon? Dow Jones, it's the same thing. People forget that it was already crashed, already to enter correction territory, down 22% in 2022. For the overall cryptocurrency market cap, we see what happened here. The rally for the overall cryptocurrency market cap back up to 1.6, cooling off here at 1.5 trillion after we went well below 1 trillion during the depths of this thing, November 2022, when Bitcoin went back down to 15,500 after the collapse of FTX. 750 billion for the overall cryptocurrency market cap. We'll continue to watch that one. The other one that I wanted to show you guys was going to be Solana. And the reason why I wanted to show you guys this is very interesting right here. In this next tweet, I'll show you what I'm talking about, what I'm looking at here. Very interesting. Take a look at this one. Marty Party. FTX bankruptcy crypto asset liquidation data set is in. Beyond comprehension how this makes any sense, but here are the facts. So this is the FTX bankruptcy process that's going through, and they are dumping billions of dollars worth of crypto, folks. And they literally just sold some here today, Sunday, December 17th. They sold 1.1 billion at $73 Solana. They sold another billion at $68 on December 8th. And then on August 31st, they sold at $21. Now, they also have been offloading Bitcoin, Ethereum, APT, and XRP. So this has been something that we've been trading against, and I can show you on the chart where these sell points came in. Whoever's trading this bag for the FTX bankruptcy filing is doing a pretty good job, because they just sold Solana up here at the top, right? They sold off this top at $73 and $68 for Solana, and you can take a look at the chart right here. This was today. They sold here today. What was that? $73 today, and then $68 on December 8th, right? So right in here, 2 sell orders right at the top of this thing. They've been loving this pump, and then they sold back here in August, and that was before we actually had continued back down to $17 for Solana. So very impressive move for Solana, for the overall recovery here. This has been rather impressive, 800% since the lows in December of 2022 for Solana. Okay. Now, as Marty says, though, unfortunately, this will go down as one of the most idiotic financial exercises in history. Now you know where those sell walls came in. We are getting dumped on as we speak right now. And this is just part of it. Gary Gensler, who did you protect? Hester Pierce, are we going to make this public? Are we going to protect investors, or are we going to just make sure that the lawyers get paid and then we move on to the next crypto sacrifice and we never protect investors? The damages are done. The damages continue to be massive. And I continue to reiterate, the SEC needs to be checked in a major, major way. And we're going to talk more about that later in this episode with the Ethereum whistleblower coming forward. Now, right on into the update, folks. Current events, cryptocurrency, financial markets, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you guys haven't already, please like this video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. I am sipping a little adult beverage too, by the way. Cheers to everyone for stopping by tonight. Yeah, very easy hydroponics, Alan. I appreciate that comment. I appreciate you enjoying the live shows. So thank you so much for your support. Into the current events, let's check it out. Washington to announce plan to combat Houthis. Washington will announce the launch of an expanded naval force that includes Arab countries to combat Houthi attacks on ships in the Red Sea. The U.S. Secretary of Defense will announce the expanded naval force during his visit to the Middle East. The United States sought to persuade China to join the expanded Maritime Protection Force. Still, some officials believe it has secured the involvement of Jordan, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, Egypt, and Bahrain. This is coming from The Guardian. And what concerns me the most is seeing our troops now getting directly involved in the skirmishes. It was reported here yesterday that we actually shot down a couple dozen attack drones. And so it's starting off with little drone attacks. It's starting out with a ship getting hijacked. And this is no joke. This is not a laughing matter. This is not something to joke about. And this is why I'm bringing this up. This is a real concern for me. Add it to the list of black swan scenarios during this black swan season that we find ourselves in. I know most people want to keep it happy and cheerful and a holly jolly Christmas, and I do too. But we still have to look at what's taking place here. And now Washington wants to announce that we're going to be using, we're going to try not to do all the dirty work ourselves, but we're going to try to involve some of these countries out of the Middle East to keep the ships flowing. But we've highlighted how there's already been multiple, Maersk and a few other major shipping giants that have already stopped. And you want to talk about supply chain issues. You thought the supply chain crisis that we had before was bad. This could go to a whole nother level. And it could really cause the price of some of these commodities to shoot up drastically. And apparently, Lindsey Graham is a little bit worried about a black swan event as well. He might be fear-mongering, but he also might have a legitimate concern here as well. We've highlighted how it's getting a little bit shaky out there. He says, I've never been more worried about a 9/11 as much as I am now. Is this fear-mongering or a legitimate concern? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's listen in.
America is under threat, according to the FBI director. Since October the 7th, jihadist groups want to attack us because we're helping Israel. I've never been more worried about a 9/11 than I am right now, and our border has been obliterated, and we're not going to give in on some Band-Aid fix. America is under threat.
Now, I did have to call him out here in this next one, though, because part of this Meet the Press interview that he did was an absolute joke. He says right here that he claims that he has not seen any evidence that Biden is corrupt or that he should be impeached. Let's listen in.
Okay, let's turn to the other big story on Capitol Hill, the impeachment, of course, of impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Your colleague, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, said that he does not see any evidence, quote, that the president is guilty of anything. Do you agree with him? Is there any evidence so far?
You know, I haven't really been paying that much attention to it. They have to prove that President...
Where have you been? We're going to have to stop that right there. Where have you been? What is going on? What do you mean you haven't been paying attention? We just had the president's son on the steps of Capitol Hill trying to say that his daddy hadn't been involved. Well, we have all the recordings. Come to X, come to Twitter. Come get educated. Because all the sleuths, we've all been working out here. We've been trying to save our country. I don't know what you've been doing other than trying to save the pockets of the military-industrial complex and your other donors that have bought and paid you off a long time ago. And what dirt do they have on you? See, what's happening right now in DC is they're cannibalizing themselves. As they fall, as they go down, they're eating themselves up here. They're exposing themselves. And this is why Lindsey, he doesn't want to go down this road. I haven't seen anything there. And I haven't been paying much attention. What have you been doing besides just trying to shill as a warmonger for the military-industrial complex? It's ridiculous.
Biden somehow financially benefited from the business enterprises of Hunter Biden. We'll see.
Have they done it yet, in your mind?
If there were a smoking gun, I think we'd be talking about it, but...
Okay, let's turn to the other big story.
We have been talking about it. We've been actually talking about it for years. And we were called crazy, lunatic, whack job conspiracy theorists. Now we have the documents. See, we've been exposing this thing. Meanwhile, you get these shills. Whether it's Elizabeth, I got a plan for that Warren who's trying to choke out cryptocurrency. She's just a shill for the banksters and for being woke. or whether we got Lindsey Graham, who's just a sellout for the military-industrial complex on the Republican side. Two feathers to the same bird is what we're looking at. And as an American, I just continue to remain frustrated because we're broke. So it doesn't matter who you want to support. If we're going to have another 9/11, if we're going to have another deal, if we're going to have another, I can't even name the issues. I might get in trouble. But you know what we're looking at? Dozens of different scenarios. And meanwhile, right, we're so busy doing the DC dance, and I can't even get into what they're doing on Capitol Hill. It's just, folks, you're seeing it here. And this is lining us up to be one of the most spectacular election cycles that we've ever seen in this country. This fits the T perfectly for a falling empire, where you're just getting embarrassed on the world stage and you got all these internal issues, this internal chaos. And I'm sure that they have a plan to bring about some order after our streets get set on fire, after who knows what's going to happen for our election, whether or not we'll even have one. It is just now getting started here, really beginning to ramp up. And you add in the Biden Black Swan, you add the World War III Black Swan, you add the 9/11 events Black Swan, you add this event, that event, the list goes on. I'm not going to sit here and try to decode or figure out, predict the exact Black Swan scenario. I'm just going to remain cautious and liquid with dry powder and a little bit of food and essentials to be able to ride out 10 days of darkness, because I don't know what they're sending at us. Cyber attack. They're priming us with the next movie coming out in April of next year, Civil War. They're getting us primed. They're getting us ready. The predictive programming's there for everybody to see. It's the #1 movie on Netflix, Leave the World Behind. And I'll be damned if I'm not going to be able to take care of my family no matter what comes our way. And for you guys out there, you know the deal. For me, it's been stacking precious metals, get cash, get food, get essentials, get diapers, get baby wipes, get baby food, formula, whatever you need. Whatever you need to be able to ride out the storm. Because you're seeing we have internal threats, we have external threats. And it's going to be a little messy situation for the next bit here. Now, folks, in the crypto space want to just talk about pumping crypto. They don't want to talk about these real issues. They say, stick to crypto, Zach. Stick to crypto, bro. I'm not going to be a stick to crypto, bro. I'm not going to be a pump crypto, bro. Now, I am excited to talk about crypto. I do believe that it changes the world. Absolutely. I do believe that we will see massive pumps. I think that we're going to have a lot of fun. But in the meantime, we got to be able to ride out the storm. We got to make sure that we've built a ship that can withstand what we're about to be going through, what is already here. They deny what's even here, and they deny that it's even possible for us to even go into a recession, have any sort of contraction, have any sort of issues, right? And what they want us in is a state of fear where we don't know what actions to take. This is why I talk about this stuff. It's not for fear mongering. It's not meant to be, just fear mongering the audience. What it's meant to do is encourage and inspire folks to get a plan put together, not just on your cryptocurrency investments, but also on being able to ride out the storm. It is here. Now, let's continue. Cabesi letter shows us we got a massive week coming up for economic data. Real estate data comes in this week. It's going to be important. November building permits data comes in on Tuesday. Consumer confidence data comes in on Wednesday. Existing home sales data on Wednesday as well, with our Q3 2023 GDP coming in on Thursday. We will see if the United States is starting to contract, if things are still going good. We're going to be watching this GDP coming out on Thursday, with the November PCE inflation data on Friday, along with new home sales coming on Friday as well. Another busy week with markets near all-time highs. Markets will also continue to digest last week's Fed meeting. Even with stocks up, uncertainty is still everywhere. And the Cabesi letter, we appreciate you for keeping us up to date. Now, let's get into it. So we're taking a look here. What is this home sale data going to reveal to us? Well, according to Wall Street Journal, home buyers are ready to buy, but sellers aren't selling. Owners are feeling too fond of the low interest rates on their existing mortgages. And we've been talking about this. This is a big reason why a lot of markets are actually still up and why prices have not declined yet, is because folks are refusing to sell and give up that 3% mortgage, right? Now, this is what's interesting, is that we've actually just seen, we did just drop below 7% for our mortgage rate. The average mortgage rate now is coming in below 7%, and this is coming off of the highs of 8%. And so the real estate guy, I should call them the real estate bros, because they remind me of the crypto bros. They remind me of the Bitcoin bros, trying to pump this thing up. They come out and they say, oh, now we're getting all this refinance, all this refinance applications have spiked. And now we have all these buyers, all this pent up demand, is what Lisa Sturdivant says here, the chief economist at Bright MLS, a real estate listings database that covers parts of 6 eastern states and Washington, D.C. Quote, there's a lot of people out there who are still waiting to get into the market, and they're making it work however they can. Now, this is what you guys want, is for people to just make it work no matter what the cost. Folks like myself are just saying, no, I'm not going to sign the dotted line on a bad deal. Now, I am ready to go, got my cash, I'm watching the market every single day, but I'm not going to sign on to one of these deals here that just doesn't make sense. What's going to be interesting to see here, though, this week is the existing home sales versus the new home sales. Because as they highlight there in this article, they are right that the existing homeowners do not want to relinquish. They do not want to give up the golden handcuffs. We talk about this. People have the golden handcuffs at their job that they hate. They can't stand their job. It makes them miserable, but they're making too much money to quit. The same thing is taking place right now with mortgages. Folks have 2.5%, 3%, 4 or 5% mortgages. They cannot give that up and replace the home that they're living in, or even get close at the current sale at the current prices. Even though mortgages have come down, mortgage interest rates have come down slightly, it's not enough. It's not enough. Now they're trying to say that refinance applications have spiked, mortgage demand has spiked. Well, it's ticked back up after falling. Mortgage demand fell to the lowest level since 1994. So you have to put the data into perspective. Okay, that's what's so important. But we're going to continue to watch the real estate reset. I dropped another update on real estate this weekend, talking about the greatest real estate correction that Grant Cardone is expecting. And so I gave my reaction to that over the weekend. If you guys missed that, you can go back and watch that one. Real estate, a very, very important asset class. I think that there's going to be a lot of money to be made here in this reset, this opportunity. But, it's a matter of remaining patient right now. You can go beat up the builders. The builders are willing to negotiate. They're doing rate buy downs. They need to move their inventory. Existing homeowners, they're not willing to deal yet. And the economy's too strong. Unemployment's down low. And so many people are not moving in the existing home market. The new homes, they're doing everything they can. They're breaking out the same the same teaser rates, the same programs that they did during the great financial crisis. Rate buy downs, where your first year you'll be at 3%, second year you get bumped up to 4%, then 5%, then you got to readjust to wherever rates are at from there. And this is going to get a lot of people caught in bad deals, and a lot of people caught in a trap where they think, okay, I'll just marry the home, date the rate, or whatever the saying is. They think they're going to be able to buy now, refinance later, but unless you have equity, you won't be able to refinance later. So if you buy that new home for $500,000, and then for that builder to be able to offload the rest of the neighborhood, he's selling at $480,000, $470,000, you're going to have negative equity. There's nothing there to refinance. So even if rates do fall back down to 5% and you're stuck in an 8% mortgage, you're going to have no equity. You'll have no room to refinance. This is why we have to be careful when we move in the real estate asset class right now. The reset is here, confirmed. It's so beyond being confirmed in the data that the real estate reset is here. Doesn't mean that everybody's going to get killed. As Grant Cardone was saying, and I reacted to his prediction for the greatest real estate correction of his lifetime, but he said that single family homes would be relatively good. They'll be fine. And I agree. Many markets still showing incredible strength. A lack of supply is going to keep those homes propped up. So we'll continue to watch that one. Now let's continue. Appreciate everyone for stopping by here. So this just goes to show that our community's been over the target. Let me get it out. We had to do it. They came after us. And so we got the red folder. That's for the damages done to the XRP community. And now we have the green folder. And this is for the Ethereum Free Pass. And what I'm going to be adding to our Ethereum Free Pass timeline is going to be the interview that Steven Narioff is doing with John Dean this week. I cannot wait for this. This is going to be exciting, folks. And as I title this session tonight, this could be the precursor to XRP surpassing Ethereum once again. Remember, back when we had, relatively speaking, a level playing field, back during the 2017 bull run, XRP surpassed Ethereum. So now we approach a somewhat more of a level playing field. XRP has legal clarity. Ethereum doesn't have legal clarity other than the free pass, which has done them pretty well. And so we're going to get to see if XRP can surpass Ethereum once again. And this thing is just getting exposed. You look at it right now. The average Bitcoin transaction costing $30-40 to send a Bitcoin transaction. That's a complete joke. They can't even handle NFTs on the Bitcoin ledger. It's just crashing the whole thing. With Ethereum, 2.0 was a flop, and now we have the Ethereum whistleblower who's coming out and he's trying to vindicate himself because our government came after him, the Department of Justice, FBI. They literally it was like a scene out of the Blacklist, a scene out of a movie. They picked him up, threw him in a van, and tried to stick him with all these charges and try to get him to spill the beans. They gave him a list of all these actors within the crypto space and said, what do you got on all these people? And Steven wasn't going to snitch on them because he knew that he didn't do anything wrong. Now, what the rest of this space did, what Joseph Lubin did, what Vitalik Buterin did, what his father did, well, that's a different story. But I want to give a huge shout out to Digital Asset Investor. That's why I say he's one of the best, if not the best, at putting this whole thing together, because he's been directly over the target now for years. Just like so many of us in this community, this has been a team effort. But DAI, this tweet was put out in November of 2021, before Steven Narioff came on the scene and really started to blow up here, just like he did in the past few months. This is well before that. DAI says, I'm learning the Ethereum founders do not want to claim Steven Narioff as a co-founder, which intrigues me all the more. And he shares this interview from July 27, 2018. Take a listen in on this one, folks.
A technology similar to Bitcoin, it's both a blockchain technology, it's called Ethereum. I came up with a structure on the legal side in terms of how to do the offering, because we were selling, they were called tokens. We're selling similar to Bitcoin as a token. This one is called Ether. It's another token, and it's something of value. And people contributed to this by paying money, and we had to find a legal way of making that happen. We got a law firm, a really prominent law firm, to give us an opinion that was a kosher transaction. That they worked very diligently to make sure over many months that there were other countries that were looking for laws so they could move they wanted to move very fast and capture this technology and capture the industry. Switzerland was one of those, and so the Swiss legal framework folks needed some legal precedent in other country. Frankly, there just wasn't any. There wasn't any. So what they were able to do was to take the opinion letter that I put together with the law firm and use that as a legal precedent. That's unusual.
God bless him. But as we've highlighted, right, and as Steven Narioff came on my Twitter space, what was that, about a month or so ago? When he came on my Twitter space out of the blue, and I didn't know what to do with myself, because this was when he first came onto the radar here once again. And, it was kind of like we were breaking this story. And so I'm trying to position myself, get all my questions ready to go. Now we get to see this in a proper setting. John Dean is going to get to ask Steven and press him about all these questions that we want to see answered. And we find it so intriguing that the Ethereum founders and everyone involved wants to distance themselves from Steven. And Steven's coming out and he's saying that I gave him the framework. We got the legal opinion. It was all kosher. It was going to be all on the up and up. But what did Steven say? What has he told us? that they took the complete opposite route, and all they cared about was getting rich. They knew that they actually weren't building out real value, real utility, but they were getting more tokens launched, and basically they created that token factory, and it was stuff in their pockets. That's all they cared about. They didn't care about the fraud. They didn't care about the scams. They didn't care about all these tokens that had no utility. They didn't care that Ethereum still sucked. They've been, they were talking about Ethereum 2.0. It took them, 4 or 5 years to roll out? And they finally bring it to us, and it was the biggest flop in the cryptocurrency space yet. So now this week, Steven Narioff is going to be getting interviewed by John Deaton. And God bless John Deaton. I'm so looking forward to this one. I'm going to have my green folder ready to go. We're going to be taking notes, and it's just going to be a big one. And as always, as Stevens came on here, he's not playing around. He's not hiding from any of this. And he's actually pressing the issue, which I just love to see. Because DAI put this one out here this morning, and he's retweeting a clip here of, this is Laura the Shill. We call her Laura the Shill Shin, right? And she's interviewing Vitalik, and she's talking about Steven Narioff, the charges that were brought against him. He was charged with extortion of another company. Those charges were dropped with prejudice. They were completely fabricated and made up. But Vitalik doesn't come to Steven's defense. In fact, he tries to distance himself from Steven Narioff completely and say how, he didn't have control over who was all involved. And if he had his way, looking back now, he would have made some different decisions. But he completely tries to distance himself from Steven Narioff. Now, DAI tags John Deaton and Steven, and he says, I'm sure once you go over this clip, Laura Shin will be happy to correct the record if anything wasn't true or correct. By the way, Steven, has she invited you on to tell your side of the story? This is why I love DAI so much. He knows exactly what questions to ask, who to tag. And I tell you what, DAI, ever since he's gotten back on Twitter, he got, taken off for a few weeks. He's come back on, and he's just been relentless. We're seeing a new side of DAI. Our good old boy from Georgia is letting it fly, along with Steven Narioff. And that's the great thing. We've been working so hard to uncover this. Now we have an Ethereum whistleblower that can put facts, that can add, true dates and events and contracts and emails. Just all the evidence that we ever, all the evidence that we were looking for, Steven has it. And now he's dropping it. And we get to see here, Steven responds. He says, Laura Shin, if you are not biased towards Ethereum, then let's have a show to clear up what happened. I get a chance to respond to Ethereum, Vitalik, Lubin, Dimitri, and any other topic that's related. I've got interest from the largest podcast, so this will set records. No editing. She was a respected journalist. This gives her a chance to prove she still is one and not a shill for Ethereum. As we call her, Laura the Shill Shin. It's sincere, and there is zero legitimate reasons for her not to do it. I know more than I say. My investigative abilities uncovered multiple unprecedented corruptions. And all we ever wanted was a level playing field. They were the ones that came after us. We had to go on the defense. We have been vindicated in the XRP legal battlefield. Now we are battling here the broader crypto space, just trying to get regulations, just trying to get a level playing field. But we have to take a look here at the corruption and the damages, absolutely massive, that was done here, not just to the XRP community, not just to the crypto community, but we're fighting to save and preserve the gold standard of capital markets that we once had. With good guy Gary Gensler at the helm, doesn't appear to be letting up, and now his best buddy Elizabeth, I got a plan for that, Warren. If they got their way, they would be shutting this thing down completely and rolling it on into CBDC China version. This is the model. And their model is also pay to play. While we got Lindsey Graham saying, I don't know if there was any corruption with, the family. We'll just call him the family. I don't know if there was any corruption there. That's what he says. And he hasn't been paying attention. Well, I'll tell you what, Lindsey and every other Rhino, Shill, every other on both sides of the aisle, every other sellout that's basically sold out our children's future for their own wealth. These senators and politicians that only make $150,000 a year, but they've accumulated tens of millions of dollars in net worth. Those ones. We've been paying attention. We've been documenting. We've been collecting. We've been pushing. And yet here in the crypto space, when we brought this down into the crypto conversation, we find the same thing where the incumbents try to protect Ethereum. They're trying to protect Bitcoin, and they don't want to expose this stuff that took place because it really dissolves away the foundation that they have, known to come to know and love about their investments in Ethereum and Bitcoin and everything that they did over there. Instead of understanding that that's a weak foundation that they got over there. It's just fraud, manipulation, and a token factory based off of corruption at the highest levels of our government. And you want to make money off that. And you're too busy shilling like some of these other influencers that don't want to call this out. They don't want to talk to Steven. They don't want to have a conversation. And it's because they have no backbone, they have no values, and they stand for nothing other than they're so dang broke, and it's so pathetic that they got to just shill the whole deal. And now we're uncovering it. Our timeline, our facts and our timeline has never been in dispute. And now we get to add the evidence, we get to add the emails, we get to add the contracts, and we get to add it to the conversation at a point in time where now we've had the victory for XRP. And I just asked the question, is this setting the stage here for XRP to surpass Ethereum once again? We already did it during the 2017-2018 bull run when we had a level playing field. That was before Ethereum had the free pass. So consider that. Before Ethereum had the free pass during the 2017-2018 bull run, when relatively speaking, it was a level playing field because no one had clarity. No one had a free pass. The whole space was really just getting started. It was very new still. What did XRP do? It pumped last, it pumped the hardest, and it surpassed, it blew right by Ethereum for a short moment in time. It didn't last long. Let's give Ethereum credit. But now here, fast forward, we missed out. We were suppressed through the last bull run. Now we come back around here, and now we got a level playing field, or at least we have legal clarity for XRP. There is no legal clarity for Ethereum, but they do have a free pass. We'll see how well that works for them. But this comes at an inflection point too, where now we're getting all the utility that Ethereum and all of the layer 2s on Ethereum had. We got NFTs already now. We're getting AMM, we're getting cross-chain bridge, we're getting digital ID, we're getting clawback, we're getting everything that we need to compete. And we have legal clarity that gives us an advantage. And we have the company Ripple that, unlike the clown show freaking unicorn costume that's going on over there in the Ethereum group, we have real businesses and legitimate institutions coming to the XRP ledger and partnering up with Ripple. Folks, this is the moment in time that we've been waiting for here. Remember that we need to be able to ride out this storm. We need to remain liquid. We're not out into the clear yet. We're still in the middle of the storm. The crypto space still has a lot of cleaning up to do. So while we clean it up, stay ready, keep your dry powder, keep your food, essentials, get right with someone, and hopefully we can make it through the other side here. And on the other side of this thing, XRP is not going to be sitting at 60 cents anymore. Now, I see that we got a couple of super chats here from Ohio Patriot, 5-spot. I really do appreciate that. Deep dive crypto platform Rule Match, established by former Ripple partner Dave R. Rule Match is working with Ripple's Medico. ETH is going away. Ohio Patriot, I appreciate the 5-spot. I will take a look at that. Rule Match. I will write that down and I will take a look at it. Now, I also see that we got another super chat. That one was from Stewart. Zach speaking truth as per usual. Stewart showing love per usual. Stewart, much love to you, brother. And I hope that you guys are staying, speaking of dry powder, I hope you guys are staying dry over there in Australia. I know you guys are having a lot of flooding taking place over there. Now, guys, I do want to say on the way out that we're running the discount code. Use discount code WEALTH. That's WEALTH, all caps. Discount code for EliPal. And then Trezor just did a permanent price drop on some of their wallets. Both of those wallets are listed at my website, zachrector.com. EliPal, Trezor. For EliPal, use discount code WEALTH, save 10%. I just secured that for the community this last week. Also, the link for Link2 down below. If you are new to Link2, you can get $500 towards your first investment when you use my link on down below. If you want more savings, we're not done. There's more. You can take advantage of the special that we're running for Patreon memberships. Sign up for 1 year. You will save 13% on your annual membership fees, and you will get access to our Discord private investment community. That is all I have to say here for tonight. I appreciate everyone for stopping by, having fun with me. I got a lot to cover here as we move into the next week. I already got another video ready to drop tomorrow morning. So make sure you are subscribed, hit that notification bell. If you like the update here tonight, make sure you like this video, share it out far and wide for me, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all.